Hello, it's audio-based Chris here, and I'd like to talk you through a little bit of a impulse purchase I've managed to pick up for myself. Being a child of the 80s, well, late 70s really, but being a child of the 80s, the advent of handheld gaming consoles was a sort of amazing thing for me. I didn't have to kick parents off the TV to play my games anymore, and it really was an amazing thing. Playing retro games on your phone is cool, but it doesn't really have the same feel as perhaps something like this. So what we have here is the Retroflag GPI case. It is a specialized case for a Raspberry Pi Zero, and it really is a stunning thing. So what we have here is a Raspberry Pi Zero hiding inside this fake cartridge slot. We have 4 face buttons, a bit of a build up from the originals too. We have a D-pad, start, select. We have 2 shoulder buttons on the back, which is these bits here. And you can also run this thing off AA batteries, 3 of them. Yeah, it's amazing, really. So also has a built-in speaker. It really does feel like playing an original Game Boy. So great. So what makes this so special then? Well, it obviously has a bigger screen than the original Game Boy, and you're not just limited to Game Boy games. So if I jump back out of this menu, we've got Game Boy. Let's fire up some Game Boy Color. I own all of these games. I really do. I don't just like Tetris games, but, you know, one of my favourites. Then, as if by magic, it fires up Game Boy Color games. As if by magic, he said, prompting. So, I even emulated the slightly dim original Game Boy screen. As you can see, that's much nicer. So when you have the Game Boy Color, obviously, still have the borders on the side of the screen because it isn't an exact match to the original Game Boy's aspect ratio. But so now you can play all your Game Boy Color games if you want. What if you want to do something a bit more interesting than that? Well, then you can perhaps do some Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, as we called it in the UK. Fire up some Genesis. Let's have some sound so we can have the Sega. As you can see, that's now using the full screen. And if you don't fancy playing some Genesis, then of course you have original Nintendo, Streets of Rage, or the OpenBOR version, MS-DOS. MS-DOS runs as you'd expect on a very low power unit. Pico 8. This is a special fantasy console that was never made into a real handheld, but is brilliant and has a very strong community. Ports, stuff like Doom. This is where you can configure all your settings. ScumVM for Monkey Island, that sort of thing. Super Nintendo, and the venerable Amiga. However, the Amiga just doesn't run particularly well on this. It's not a very powerful unit. Atari 7800, and of course Game Boy. So, yeah, it's a great bit of kit. If you wanted to buy one and then assemble it, you're probably looking at about £100 UK pounds. I don't know what that is in colonial units, but because you have to buy the Raspberry Pi Zero, you have to buy an SD card for it, and then of course you need to buy the case itself. And the case retails for around between £50 and £70, depending on where you get it. So yeah, and this is one of my favourite things about it. So this is a fake cartridge, and inside we have a little connector, like a real cartridge, and that connects to pogo pins inside. The Raspberry Pi Zero, the complete computer system, is inside here. Wonderful bit of kit. Feels great to play on. Loads of fun, and definitely worth checking out if you have even the slightest interest in retro gaming. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you later.